Awesome. Hello and welcome everyone. We are going to get started here in just a moment, just to give other folks a minute to get in and get settled. We are going to get started here in just a moment, but this is the Skills Kickstart session on Encompass Mobile Basics Sales and Delivery with our presenter Jossie. Just as I mentioned, we are going to get started here in just a moment, so hang tight and we'll be right back. Awesome. And it is a minute past, and it looks like we do got a good crowd, so we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you who did just join, this is the Skills Kickstart session on Encompass Mobile Basics Sales and Delivery with our presenter, Jossie. With that, my name is Alex Luna. I'm a facilitator for this, so if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat or the Q&A throughout the webinar, and there should be time at the end for any lingering questions as well. With that, let's go ahead and take it away, Jossie.
Thank you, Alex. Welcome, everybody, to Encompass Mobile Basics for Sales and Delivery. My name is Jocelyn Ironcloud. I'm a customer enablement specialist here at Encompass. I've been here a little over 3.5 years. I spent my first part of Encompass on our support team, focused on our CRM products. So worked a lot with Encompass Mobile. This is one of my favorite sessions to do. So I'm excited to talk to you today. To get started, what we're going to talk about today is the importance of syncing, and then we're going to spend probably 90% of our day just in a demo. The easiest way to learn Encompass Mobile is to just see it. So we'll spend our entire time on a simulator today, just taking a look at the different features. We'll take a look at the home screen in My Day, doing kind of just some general overview for anybody who's in Encompass. Take a look at event view, and then we'll split out a little bit into sales and delivery so that you can see both sides of that. All right, so to get us started, if there is one thing that you can take away from this training, I hope it's this part. Encompass Mobile does not have live data. If you're familiar with our warehouse side of Encompass, if you were in the training right before this, there is live data on the warehouse side, meaning that you don't have to do any type of syncing. That is not the case for this part of Encompass. This part of Encompass does not have live data, so you do need to sync. And we have a few different ways to do that, and we'll talk about all of them before we move into our demo. Syncing pulls information down from the server side or the computer side and pushes information from your handheld device up to the server. We recommend, at a minimum, you sync at the very beginning and very end of your day, at the bare minimum. But what we really want you to be doing is syncing after every single stop. There's these three types of syncing here: the manual, the swipe down, and the auto. We'll go through each one of them and what the differences are. But the main one that you'll probably be using and the most comprehensive type of sync is the manual sync, this blue sync button that you see here on the right. And this is what we refer to when we talk to you on support a lot of the time and we're asking you to sync. This is usually what we're referring to. Okay, let's talk about the differences between the three here. So starting out with that manual sync, again, that blue sync button on the home screen there, the most comprehensive type of sync. A manual sync is what's called a push and a pull type of sync, meaning we're pulling information down from the server and we're pushing information from your handheld up to the server. So push and a pull. This is getting all of the most up-to-date information back and forth. So anytime that you're updating anything on an invoice on your handheld, that's going up to the server, and anything that's being, say, updated on your route on the server is being pulled down to your handheld. It's going back and forth. Okay. The next type here is a swipe down sync. This one is done on the My Day screen, which we'll see here just in a bit when we get into the demo. This one's a little bit less comprehensive than the manual sync. It's still a push and a pull, so we're bringing information down from the server and still sending information up from your handheld, but we're excluding really big files. So things like images that you take in surveys, or documents that you upload for your customer, like their license or things like that. Those will not be included in a swipe down sync. And then our third type of sync here is the auto sync. This one happens on the invoice edit screen in Encompass Mobile. This one is vastly different than the other two, though. This one is not a push and a pull type of sync. This one is push only, meaning that we are only sending information from your handheld to the server. This one happens when you back out of the invoice edit screen after you update an invoice. So when you're out in the field adding products to invoices, or you're cutting products after a delivery and you back out of that invoice edit screen, we automatically send that information about that invoice update up to the server. Hence the name, you don't have to do anything, it automatically happens. So this one, a little bit different, a lot of bit different than the other two. Now, for all three of these, it's really important to know that you do have to have some sort of cell service or Wi-Fi for these to happen. So for those of you that are working in really remote areas, or if you have bad service or your device doesn't have cellular service, if you're on like an iPod, sync as often as you can when you have connection. So if you have a customer that will let you use their Wi-Fi, or if you're stopping at a McDonald's or whatever it may be, just sync as often as you can throughout the day. All right, so that's enough of slides. We're just going to jump into the demo and see actually how it works. Again, we're going to start with some general information, so stick with me. If you are sales, delivery, merchandising, whoever you are, I'll let you know when you can fast forward if you're watching the recording, or if you're with me live, just hang out with me. We're just going to look at home in my day here first. So I'm going to switch over to my simulator here. Okay. So here's my simulator. And I am on a screen here that you may not see when you're on Encompass Mobile. This one's a little bit special. This is the clock in screen here. This comes with a special permission that not everybody has. This is the hourly employee permission. Not really important for you to know, more for your manager. But this creates a log somewhere on the server that shows that you clocked in. So if you see this button, this is just creating a clock in record for you. If you have it, click it. If you don't even worry about it. I'm going to click it here to show that I'm clocking in, and that's going to bring me to the home screen here. So home screen of Encompass Mobile. Yours, again, might look different than mine. This screen is customizable. So this is the default view of Encompass Mobile. Your company can customize this to whatever your needs are as a sales rep or delivery rep or a merchandiser. So you might see different buttons here. The main ones that you're most likely going to see and that don't really get removed are this My Day button, the control panel, and of course our manual sync button there at the bottom. Those ones don't usually ever go anywhere, but you might see some different ones on here like surveys or dashboards, or other things on here that are more pertinent to you. Okay. We are, of course, going to go back to our very first thing about this session, about syncing being the most important thing. So because I'm just starting my day, I do need to sync my device. So I'm going to tap on my blue sync button at the very bottom. And that's going to bring me to my login screen here, and I just need to put in my password. And then I'm just going to tap sync. And this is going to start doing that push and pull type of sync where it's pulling all of the updated information down from the server about my route, my plan, my invoices, all of my customers, and getting me all of that updated information. And then if there's anything new on my handheld, which I just started my day, so there shouldn't be anything, it will be sending that up to the server as well. Now, there was a lot of stuff that happened in the background here that you can see. I got all of that information here at the bottom, and then I can see the progress of sync complete. I'm good to go. I can head back home here. All right. So now that I've done my sync, I can go ahead and head into my day, which is where I'm going to live pretty much my entire day to do all of my stops and all of my invoices. Okay. Now, I have a weird kind of pop-up here that you're not usually going to see. I have this because I downloaded a sales and delivery plan for today just so I can show you them. You won't usually see this. I'm just going to tap into my sales plan first. Again, we're looking at general things here, so don't lose me just yet. I want to talk about kind of what we're seeing on our My Day screen here. We have a few different ways that you can look at your stops for the day. We have some tabs across the top here that let you kind of customize what you want to see. We have a service time view that puts your stops for the day in kind of an agenda. So they're organized in your plan to start time. And I can see I am very late for my stops today. All of mine are very behind. But this is probably not our most popular view that we see used, but it's great if you're seeing some issues with maybe your route timing, like you have a customer that has a very specific delivery window, or you're not making it to a customer in time of what your route is saying you should be there in time. It's a really good way to start that conversation with your manager by using this view here. Our next tab at the top here is the map view. This one's really nice if you are new to a route. I'm going to zoom in here because I have one that is really far away so you can actually see what it should look like. I'm not sure why we're so red here. That's okay. This is the map view. So if you're new to a route or you're covering somebody's route, this one's really nice. It gives you some little pinpoints on the map of where your customers are. So you can kind of see on the street view here where those customers are. And then when you click on those pinpoints, you get some extra information about them. These maps come from Google Maps, so we'll blame Google today about why these are very red. But when you click on your pinpoints here, you get a little pop-up that will give you customer information like their name, their address, and their phone number if you have one listed. And then these little blue tiles are really handy that if you click on this, it will open up Google driving directions from wherever you are. Of course, I'm on a simulator, so this is saying that I'm really far away from this customer. But if you are actually on a real device and in the town that you're supposed to be in, this will tell you how far you are away from that customer. And then our third and final and most popular view is our stops view. This one is the most simple. It's just a list of your stops. There's really nothing fancy happening in this one. We get the customer name and some icons, and that's about it. On the left-hand side, we get an icon that kind of tells us what type of stop this is, and then icons underneath to tell us what we're doing at that stop. So the icon on the left tells me, I know it's a little hard to see because it's so small, but it's a storefront telling me that it's a customer. And then underneath, I have some little like paper icons telling me it's an invoice, and then some others that could be like surveys or display surveys or whatever it may be. All right, let's talk about some other things that we can find on this screen here before we move into our stops. At the top, where our date is, I have this little calendar icon. When I tap on that, I can actually move in between days. So let's say yesterday I had a bunch of stops and I want to toggle between my days. I can actually go back to yesterday and see my plan from yesterday. I'm not a real sales rep, so I don't have anything. But if I wanted to go see my stops from yesterday, I could. And then I can toggle back to today as well. Something really nice too is that when you're on a different day, in the bottom left corner, there's going to be a little button that pops up and highlights a blue hyperlink to today. If you ever see this and it's blue, that is an automatic trigger to tell you that you are on the wrong day. This is going to let you go right back to your day without having to click on the calendar, find today in the calendar and click on today. It will automatically take you right back. When I'm on my actual day, this is grayed out. I don't have the ability to click back on today. So watch out for that, especially if you toggle back and forth between days a lot. If you see that blue today in the corner, you're on the wrong day. Don't start clicking through plans and doing invoices on the wrong day if you see that's blue. On the right-hand side, I've got a hamburger menu over here that has some navigation options in here. This is the default view. Yours could look a little bit different. This is customizable for whatever is pertinent for your company, but nothing really fancy happening in here, just some quick navigation tools. In the bottom, I have got a chat bubble here that takes me to eChat if your company uses this. This is just the chat functionality that you can get to your directory and any messages that you have. And then at the very bottom, I have a plus sign here. So let's say that I had a customer call me up and they needed an extra stop today, but they're not on my list of stops for the day. I can actually add a customer interaction with this plus button at the bottom. I get two options, customer interaction and other assignments. The difference here is obviously customer interaction is going to do with the customer. Other assignments are going to be things that are not customer related. So these are going to be tasks like a lunch break, or some people use them for like DOT surveys or things that are not customer related. So whichever one makes the most sense, you're going to pick that and you can add that to your list of stops for the day. All right, last thing on here is going to be that swipe down sync that we talked about. So that comprehensive type of sync that excludes those large files. Two ways that you can do that. You can either click this little gray arrow up here underneath the date in the calendar, or just like any other app on any handheld that you use, you can just use your finger and swipe down on the screen like this, and it will start doing the sync. You can see it happening here. It's doing kind of the same thing that it's doing when we use the blue button on the home screen. And then it's going to reload my page here. And it took me back to yesterday because that's where I was before. But then I can hop back into today. And then it's going to bring me all of that up-to-date information again. Okay. I'm going to hop into one of these stops here, and we're going to take a look at the next screen, and then we're going to switch and kind of look at some separated roles here. So before we do that, let's talk about this next screen. This is the event view screen here. It's going to look the same no matter who you are or what you do in Encompass. This is the screen that's going to help you complete your tasks for the day. At the top, we've got some customer information, their address, their primary contact, the primary contact's email, and then any delivery instructions. So this one looks like they prefer mornings. Here I've got the planned event time. This is for my route specifically. And then on the right-hand side, I've got a lot of tools and things that I can use to help me complete my tasks for the day. I'm not going to go through all of these. There's quite a few of them, and for the sake of time, there's no way I would get through all of them. I do have another session that goes through quite a few of them on the recording archive. It's Encompass Mobile Sales Tools and Best Practices, I believe it's called. If you want to take a look at that one, we go through quite a few of them. But we're not going to do that today. If you are on a phone and not a tablet like I am, this menu might be collapsed. There'll be a little arrow in the bottom right-hand corner that you can pop this open. A few things I do want to point out in this menu, though, are available in historical invoices. So if you are a sales or delivery rep and you want to pull up an old invoice from maybe a couple weeks ago, the customer wants to print out a new one, or maybe they need you to email them a copy of it, you can click on historical invoices here and get a list of all of their past invoices. Here's all of their past invoices here. You can actually click on the check boxes to the right of that invoice and email off a copy to them. Or you can just pop open an invoice PDF view here if you just want to take a look at it, whichever makes the most sense. We also have some customer options down here for customer notes. So we have a really old note in here that this is probably demo data from a really long time ago that this customer wants to do more business, but they're broke. You can put some notes in here about the customer. These are internal only, so things the customer aren't going to see. But of course, you never know what the customer is looking at, so be careful. But these are great for communication between, say, like the delivery and sales reps or the merchandisers. If you want to just leave some notes in here, you can also see these on the server as well. So for managers, if you want to take a look at the notes that are being put in on customer notes, there is a customer notes table that you can take a look at on the server as well. And then last thing I want to point out over here is the customer information. This one is just a mobile view of the customer's table. So you can see a lot more of their customer information here. And then if you have the special permission, you will have an edit pencil up in the right-hand corner to be able to edit the information here. So if there is a number wrong with their address or something is not quite right with their information on here, you can come in and edit it right from Encompass Mobile as long as you have that permission. Okay, so at this point, we are going to kind of do a little bit of a shift. I am going to bring us back to our slide deck for just a second. We're going to do kind of a split here and we're going to go into our sales demo. So if you're watching the recording and you are a delivery rep, you can probably fast forward at this point. But if you're with me live, hang tight. We will get to you, I promise. We're going to switch to the sales demo at this point and walk through all of your day-to-day processes. So bear with me. If you are delivery, we will get to you, I promise. All right. So sales, let's jump into it. From our event view screen here, down in our tasks here in the bottom left, anything that we have to complete for the day will be listed here. So I see I have a pre-sale invoice that I need to complete, and then I have a display survey as well. I just need to tap on these to complete them. So I'll go ahead and tap on my invoice first. That's going to bring me to the available invoices screen. I have one invoice to complete here. There's nothing on it yet, obviously, because it's pre-sale. I'm the sales rep. Nothing has happened with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and tap on this. And it's going to bring me right into the invoice edit screen. Here's where I'm going to do most of my work for the day and where I'm going to enter all of my purchases for this customer. All right. So there's a lot kind of going on this screen here. So let's talk about what's going on here. The products that we see on the screen here, this entire list is what's called the usual products screen. The products are here because they have either been purchased or inventoried, usually in the last 180 days. That number can be changed by your company. That can be customized. The default is 180. If you're seeing it's longer or shorter, check with your manager to see what your company has it set to, but usually it's 180 days. We can do a few things to kind of pare down this list here to make it a little bit more digestible. So at the top, probably the most straightforward is the search functionality. So if you know exactly what you're looking for, you can just keyword search here or use your product ID if you are really fancy and have them all memorized. You can just search by keywords and it will find anything that matches the keyword that you put in. We also have a scanning barcode here. So if you have the product in front of you at the customer and you want to order more of it or you want to inventory it, you can tap on this barcode here and it will use the camera functionality on your device to scan the barcode on it and bring it up in your list. We also have a filter button here. You get lots of filtering options: product type, brand, segment, style, even keg types, all sorts of things that you can filter by to pare down that list. They're pretty straightforward, really nothing too fancy happening with them. But the one that's pretty cool here is our sorting options. There's some that are pretty straightforward. So where our little up and down arrows are here, if we click on this drop down, we get some different options to sort our list of usual products. So we can sort them by like product name, so A to Z. We can sort them by product number. Lots of different options in here. One really cool one is sales volume. So if I want to put their most popular products that they buy at the very top of the list, I can use the sales volume one. Or one that's really popular is our custom sequence. This one's really nice because it gives you the ability to set the sequence yourself. And what we see this used as a lot is when you're walking up and down the shelves of the customer and you want to be able to either enter inventory or purchases in the order that you physically see the products in front of you. You can reorder the products in that order with this custom sequence. So The way you do that is select the custom sequence sort. You get a little toggle over here on the right-hand side called Record New Custom Sequence. When you toggle that on, you'll see this little sequence box pop up over here. You won't actually be able to edit it or anything. It's going to do everything in the background for you. All you need to do is do your normal things that you would do when you're at that customer, taking inventory and purchases. So there's an editable inventory box here. I'm going to go ahead and just take some inventory on some of these products as if I'm walking up and down the aisles of this customer. And these are the order that I'm seeing them on the shelves in front of me. Okay, I'm just going to do a few here. And then once I'm done and I've gone through the entire store, I can toggle off this record new custom sequence and it will reorder my list of usual products in the order that I entered that inventory. So next time I come in to see this customer, those products are in the right order now for me to just go down my list in the order that I see the products on the shelf. So I don't have to go searching for them and find them in my list. It's really handy. Something to know, this only does that for you on your device. It won't do that for your coworkers. So if you have a merchandiser that also wants to have this order, they do have to do it themselves. It will not do that for them. So only for you. All right. Now, with the usual products here, because these are the only products that have been here in the last 180 days inventoried or purchased, if there is, say, like a new product that they want to purchase or something that they haven't purchased in a long time, and you need to add it to their invoice, there is a way to add a product to this list. In our hamburger menu in the top right corner up here, we'll tap on that. And there's an add product option here. Here you get the kind of the same ability we had out on the usual product screen where we can search, scan a product if you have it in front of you, or use some filtering options here. I'm just going to search. So I'm going to search for my wind and clouds, and I'm looking for this 15% strong ale here. And there's a couple things that I can do. I can either, my little calendar thing, there we go. I can either add it directly to the invoice, which will just put it in my usual products list, or I can order it directly from here. So if I know the customer wants to buy 5 of these, I can enter the quantity, hit done, click add to invoice, and it will add it right to the invoice for them and order it. While I'm on my list here, I also see a number available. This number available is the available quantity from the warehouse. So I can see the quantity I have available to us to order for that customer. This is that on-floor inventory. So I'll go ahead and add this to the invoice here. I can see that big long list of products has gone away. It's because we're focusing in on that product that I just added. But I get a new button at the top here, show full list, that will bring that whole list back for me. So I'm going to go ahead and tap that to bring our big product list back. All right, so we've added a new product in that we needed to order for that customer. We've reorganized everything to get it in the order that we need it. But now that we've got our list in the way we need it, I've got like a bunch of buttons on here, kind of some information, some buttons on the right. They don't really tell me what they are or what they're doing. And this is also customizable. So if you are using a phone, not a tablet, you can customize what you see on this screen. Now, it's probably a little confusing because I am using a tablet, but that's because I am in a phone mode on my simulator here. In the hamburger menu, you can turn on a phone or iPad mode. If I were on actual tablet mode, it would look like this. It's a little bit different. I'm on phone mode because that's usually what you're using out in the field so that you can see what it looks like. But if you're on a tablet, that's why it'll look a little bit different. To customize this, you're going to use your hamburger menu here, and we're going to click on Customize Columns. This is going to allow me to pick and choose the things I want to see in my usual products list to help me purchase or inventory or see more information about the products in that list. At the top, I get a little preview of that information as well to kind of help me see what that will look like. And then down below, I can see what I already have selected. So all that random stuff that I was already seeing, looks like I got the product. I have a days of inventory, the inventory and purchase boxes, price and history, full price, and then a bunch of other stuff down here. So let's take some stuff off of here that maybe I don't want. I don't want the market analysis or build to. Maybe I don't want the last purchase days or these last purchase quantity and inventories, but I do want full price. And maybe I want to see any discounts that these products have instead. And I can already see how that changed my preview of the usual product screen. It cleaned it up quite a bit and took off a lot of that kind of clutter. And if I back out here, I can see that changed my view of the usual product screen. So it took off a lot of the buttons that I was seeing here before, cleaned up my screen here, and is showing me only what I actually want to see. So here's that full price that I had selected, any discounts for that product that I added on to my view. And then the days of inventory over here on the right is the other thing that I had selected. This days of inventory is for the retailer, the customer, not your warehouse. This one's a little bit different. So this one is an estimate based on the inventory and purchase history for this customer. So this one isn't like necessarily the most accurate. It's really going to be based on how well you take inventory at this customer. So because this is demo data, it is not the best inventory in here. So I can see this customer only has 4 of this one product and it has 112 days estimated of this product. That's insane. So it's doing its best to try to estimate how long it will last for this product. So that's what this days of inventory is doing here. The color will change when you're getting close to being out of it. So I can see when there's about 13 days left or 4 days left, it's turning to a yellow with a little warning. And then when it's out or it's expired, it will turn red. So you get some nice little warnings in there. I also see some little tags on the left, or excuse me, the right. This little yellow tag here is a promotion, meaning that this product here has a promotion available that you can dig into deeper if you want to. Okay, so every single product that we see on the screen here obviously has an inventory and purchase box. That's one thing that even if you customize the crap out of this screen, most of them always have this inventory and purchase box. It's the most important thing that you're doing for the day. So these are quick edit boxes. When you tap into them, you're able to either use the buttons on the screen here, and you can either just kind of tap into the next boxes here when you're taking inventory, or we have a really nice toggle for inventory down here for input inventory only. When you toggle this on, it will take away all of the other options so that you can enter in the amount and just next, 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 next to them. So you don't have to keep clicking through the boxes. This is kind of a newer feature, something that was highly asked for. That way you don't have to keep clicking out of the keyboard here. You can just keep clicking next and it will take you to the next product in the list. Another really handy reason to have that custom sequence so that they're all in the right order and you can just keep switching through your products there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put some purchases in for some of these products here. This is pretty straightforward. You're just entering the amount that they want to order. Okay, nothing too fancy happening. We'll talk about that button here in just a minute. All right, now that's pretty straightforward, but it doesn't really help me push any new products, right? If this customer knows exactly what they want, I can put purchases in like that all day long. But what if it's a brand new product and I'm trying to push them to buy it? I have the ability to kind of dig deeper into these products. So aside from my custom columns here that give me kind of some like quick and dirty details about them, I can also dig deeper into them. So I'm going to search for a product here. And I want my my silly, oops, if I can spell, my silly strawberry seltzer. And when I tap on the product name, it brings me into a new screen called the product detail screen. And this screen is going to give me kind of a deeper understanding about the product and give me more information about it. So, a few things that I can do here at the very top, I can click on the blue hyperlink of the product name here and get some more information about it, like the product number, the inventory we have at the warehouse. If we have any more coming in, I can see when the next receive date is and how much of that we're going to be getting. Some pricing information and more just product information on here. I also have some sell sheet and knowledge information here. So if the supplier has sent us sell sheet information, I can pull this up to help me push this product for the customer. So for this one, I've got this really pretty Wooden Clouds silly strawberry seltzer sell sheet here. If it will open, maybe, maybe not. That I can help um, use the information on these sell sheets to sell it to the customer. It's not going to open for me today. That's okay. Knowledge is kind of the same thing. It's just on a different platform. So this comes down from the server. Usually these are more in-depth kind of information about the product. So these are things like in-depth brand information or something that's not as easy as a sell sheet one pager. So you can bring those in and help push that product even more. So quick little buttons that you can use to help sell that product. Down below, we've got a bunch of widgets for more product information. These are, again, customizable. So you can use the edit pencil in the top right corner here to customize these. On the right, you can use these little lines here to drag and drop widgets where you want them. So you can put the most important ones to you at the very top. And you can use the little minus signs if you don't care about any of these, like maybe you don't want to see the UPC. You can click those little minus signs to remove them from view and put them in kind of a box at the bottom for adding back later if you want them. Maybe I do want the memo, and then you can add them back in. So customizable, add whatever you want to. I'm not going to go through all of these today. Again, we have that other session that goes through all of these if you want more information on them. There's just a couple that I want to touch on here. First is this inventory one. Inventory box here is exactly the same as the one we see out here, this editable inventory box, but there's a slight difference. The difference we have here is the detail toggle. When I toggle this on, I get 3 boxes here to be able to take inventory in. And the reason I would use this is if I have inventory of this product in different places throughout the retailer. So let's say I have inventory on the display, in the back stock, and they have inventory on the shelf. I could take a sticky note with me and write down the inventory in all 3 different places and try to do the math in my head, but I am too tired and have not had enough coffee and I don't want to do that. So what I can do instead is take the inventory and write them down in the boxes in here. So there's, let's say 10 on the display, there's 5 in the back stock, and they have 6 on the shelf. When I toggle off the detail toggle here, it's going to add it all up for me. I don't need to do any math today. So it's a quick and easy way to take inventory throughout your store without having to do any mess up of math. Nobody has to have too many cups of coffee today. No math. All right. Moving down. Our next one is, let's see, where'd my purchase box go? There we go. Purchase box is exactly the same as the one out on the other screen. Our difference here is we have a new button called the trade out button. This one is going to let you do just like what you think, a trade out. So let's say the customer has some expired product and they want to get some new ones from the warehouse and have you take back the ones that expired. So let's say they had 2 cases of this silly strawberry seltzer that went out of code. I would just put a 2 in the purchase box for the 2 that they want replaced. All I need to do is click that trade out button, and it's going to automatically create the reverse transaction for those 2 that are going back to the warehouse. It's going to ask me why I did that. And this is the list of reasons my company has. Yours might look a tiny bit different depending on what's set up for you. But I have an out of code reason here, so that makes the most sense for me. That's what I'm going to pick. and it did that for me. I could manually do this if I really wanted to using this add transaction button. That's more work. I'm not going to do that. So I have my one click easy add trade out. And now I have my two transactions to get that product replaced for them.
Now,
All
Jossie,
right.
before we do move
Yeah,
on, there was a question that came in, kind of
sure.
revolving around the list view for the other products and kind of some sequences.
Sure.
So, is there a permission needed for custom sequence?
Good question. Yeah, so depends. If you're doing your own custom sequence on your own tablet, no. You can sequence your own tablet all you want or your own device all you want. If you're trying to say like customize the columns for every single one of your reps, no matter whose tablet or device it is, there is a permission for that, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. Um, I'll show it at the very end here. It's in complete settings. There's a way to do that. Um, but sequencing and being able to like change the sequence of your products here, there is no permission. Was that the question?
Yeah, from what I understand, there was a example that went with it, but I believe that covered it. Samantha, if not, please feel free to write the question again, and we'd be happy to answer a little bit more.
Oh, okay. I'm going to keep moving then. So we've got all of our products ordered in here for this customer. I'm going to back out here because we're done entering their order. And we get a new screen here. So this is our invoice total screen. This is going to be the screen I use to review the order with the customer before I head out for the day. So I've got my list of products here, their quantities, and the dollar amounts. I see one that has a little parentheses around it. That's that one I'm taking back to the warehouse because it was out of code. So the parentheses means it's a negative. It's going back instead of being ordered. And I don't really need to do much else here at this point. I'm not taking any payment because it hasn't been delivered yet. I'm not getting a signature. Nothing's really happening. This is just a pre-sale. So at this point, I can just go ahead and back out once I've reviewed it with them and we're good to go. So I'll go ahead and keep backing out here. At this point on our available invoices screen, if this customer had split invoicing and I had products on there that needed to be split, those would be split at this point. This customer doesn't have that, so we can go ahead and keep moving. And back to my event view screen, I am getting a new pop-up that's asking me if I'm done with this task. My company has two options set up for me. Yours might only have one. I have completed or do not pick invoice and not complete. The reason I might pick this one is if I got a call in the middle of my stop and I needed to back out and do something else in the app, but I wasn't quite done with this customer's order and I needed to come back to it. I could pick this one to let the warehouse know I'm not done with this invoice yet, so please don't start picking it. But I am done with it, so I am going to pick this completed option. And that's going to turn my task bubble here blue, showing that I am done with it. All right, I'm going to pretend that I'm done with my display survey here, and I'm going to move on to our next stop. For the sake of time, because I do want to show you delivery as well, I'm going to pretend like we did the rest of our stops here. And I'm going to back out to our home screen, and we're going to end our day as our sales rep. If you have the clock out option, all you need to do is click clock out and it will end for you. Or if you don't have the clock out option, we need to click on the sync button and click on route complete instead of sync. Route complete is also going to do a manual sync, but it's also additionally going to tell the warehouse that you are done with your route and they can start picking your invoices. While this is running, it's sending all of that information about your invoices that you completed up to the server, doing all of the good back and forth syncing, letting them know that you're done, and they can start picking your invoices. All right. Now, if you have been waiting on delivery, now is your time. We are going to switch over to the delivery side and take a look at a delivery demo here. So if you are sales, you are more than welcome to hang around and watch the delivery side. There is always something you can learn. We are going to switch back to our simulator here and take a look at the delivery side now instead. All right. So heading back to our home screen here, we are going to tap into My Day. And I'm going to go into my delivery plan this time. Our My Day screen looks exactly the same. There's really nothing different happening here. So I'm going to tap into an event. And then I'm going to tap into my delivery invoice. This screen does look pretty vastly different. This one is going to give me a lot more options to complete all of my tasks right here from the invoice summary screen instead of having to go into that invoice edit screen like the sales side does. I'm not always going to be editing an invoice, so it lets me do a lot of my tasks from right here. I can see this customer has two invoices. They have split invoicing. They have a beer soda invoice and then a liquor wine invoice. And then I have some buttons at the bottom that I can use and some tabs across the top. So really quickly, let's go through these tabs here. Of course, I've got my invoice list, which is pretty self-explanatory. I have a product summary that shows me all of the products that are on those invoices, and then they're split out by their pallet as well. And then I have an AR summary. So the AR summary is going to show me anything that's overdue for this customer. And if I need to collect anything for them, I can do that here. And I can also access historical invoices from here as well. So for this customer, we're going to say that everything went pretty smoothly. We don't need to edit anything on these invoices. All of the products were on the truck that were supposed to be there. We've delivered them. Everything looked great. So we've arrived. The nice thing about having the kind of two invoice option here and being able to check them is that I can print and sign all at once. So instead of needing to go into them individually, I can do it all together. So as I arrive at the customer, I can click on my print button down here after selecting both of my invoices, and I can choose to print my bill of lading that can help me pull all of those products off the truck to get them inside. Once I've done that, I've delivered all my product, everything's good to go. I can do the same thing to sign them. I've got them selected. I'll click my sign button, and then the customer will use their finger to sign their name here. Once I click confirm, it's going to lock both of these invoices. So I can see both of them are locked here. And that means that I can no longer make any changes to these invoices. So that means I can't change any of the products. I can't change the payment that's on them. And that's really to protect both you, the customer, you as the company, and them as the customer. So they can't say that they didn't get any of the product that we know that we delivered, and we can't say that the money that we collected wasn't the money we collected. Okay. Then at this point, once we've done that, we can also print a final invoice for both of our invoices the same way, checking both, click print, and print invoice. Okay. So pretty simple. We can do everything right here from this screen. Now, it's not always this simple, of course. So let's look at one that's a little less simple. We'll back out here. We'll mark this one as completed. It's going to turn our bubble blue to show it's completed and head back to our home screen. And let's move into our next customer here and into our task. And we will head into our invoice here. And actually, I'm going to unlock this invoice. It got locked here on me. Give me just 2 seconds. We had a demo right before this, and I think maybe they got overlapped a little bit. That's all right. We will just undo it. No worries. Okay. All right. We'll sync to make that refreshed. Bear with me while that is updating. So I updated that on the server and now I'm fixing it on my tablet here so that it is showing up as refreshed here. Oops, maybe not. 1551100. Did I pick the right one? I did not. We'll get it.
And while Jossie does that too, like I said, feel free to use that Q&A or webinar chat to ask any questions because we do have a few
Yep.
minutes. So just wanted to call that out again while we get this on the server side.
Okay. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. There we go. Now that we have the right one, round two. Okay. So now we should be pulling down that updated invoice. This is going to happen to you too, where your sales reps or your delivery reps are going to call you and say, hey, this invoice is locked and it should not be. Can you unlock it for me? And they're going to have to go sync and do the same thing. So this should now be fixed. I'm going to there we go. That's right. So now my invoice is unlocked. I do need to make some changes here. On the way to my customer, I hit some bumps on the way and I broke some product. Oopsie me. So I need to go into this invoice and make some changes. I can't do that directly from the screen. There is no way for me to edit the invoice. I can see the products, but I can't edit them from here. So I need to get into that invoice edit screen. There's a pretty simple way to do that from here though. So from my product summary tab, I can find the product that's broken or the one that I need to edit and just tap on it. So I know the one that I broke is this Winter Clouds Forever Fun Fruited Ale. And when I tap on it, it's going to take me to it directly in the list. So I don't have to go searching, which is nice. And then I'm just going to make my changes here. I only broke one case of it on the way, so I need to update my purchase amount here because I need the invoice to reflect what I'm actually delivering, not what I was supposed to be delivering. So because I broke one case, I need their invoice to say 3 cases instead of 4. And when I click done, it's going to ask me why I'm updating this amount. Again, these are the reasons that I have. Pick the one that makes the most sense for you, for your company. But I have a breakage reason here, which makes the most sense for me. So that's the one I'm going to pick. All right. While I'm here, they also let me know that they have an empty keg for me to pick up as well. And I don't see that in my list here. If I search for it, I don't see it. So I do need to add that to my invoice as well. So in my hamburger menu, I'm going to click on add product. And I can see them at the top of my list here, but if you don't see it, you can search for your empty keg product, whatever your company calls them, and then select the one that you're picking up. And either put in your quantity here or just click add to invoice. And when you're picking up something from the customer and taking it back to the warehouse that wasn't originally on your truck, so not like breakage where it was on your truck and you're taking it back, it needs to go in as a negative. So I'm picking up a cake shell from the customer, taking it back to the warehouse. This is going to go in as a negative. They have one cake shell, so it's going to go in as a -1. When I click done, it's going to do the same thing and ask me for a reason. I have a handy dandy empty keg reason here. So that's the one I'm going to pick and hit done. Perfect. All right. That covers all of the things I need to edit on this invoice. So I'll go ahead and tap back. It's going to take me to that invoice total screen that we kind of saw earlier in the demo here. And then we have some other things to do on this screen here. I can see right off the bat the amount due is in red because the term for this customer is pay on delivery. So they owe me some money today. Down at the bottom here, there's a payment section where I can do that payment collection. The payment type section here is going to let me pick how they're paying me. So in the drop down, these are my options to pick from. They gave me a check today, so I'm going to pick check. I'll put in the check number that I see on that check. and then the amount that I received. Now, this is really important that you put in exactly what is on the check, not what you think is due. So if the customer only wrote the check for 155, not 155.93, you put 155, not what is due. That can mess up the deposit later and not have us collect what is actually due. So you put what they actually wrote on the check. Okay, so we've put in their payment that they gave us here. We don't need to do anything else with it. They'll take care of it later at the office and apply it to their invoice when we get back and return our truck. So we just need to collect their signature at this point. So I am ready to go ahead and click on the signature button here and have my customer use their finger to sign and click confirm. I should see that invoice locked here up at the top, just like our last one, meaning that I can't make any other changes. So if I forgot to empty that empty keg, I'm not going to be able to put that on this invoice. I would need to add another invoice. Or if there was more breakage that I didn't notice, I would need to make another invoice to add that additional breakage. I also can't change the payment amount here, so I can try as I may, it's not going to let me. Now, say that did happen and you do need to add that additional keg, you have a handy add invoice button down here that you can add that additional invoice to make those changes. It's going to give you the same interface that we just looked at. All right. One last thing I want to show you before we wrap up, because we are just about out of time here, is this last customer here. It is already locked because we messed up and locked it, but that's okay. I just want to show you the payment type here. When you see a customer that has an electronic payment type, like a fintech or an iControl, it's really important that you don't enter a payment for them. So really, rule of thumb is if you're not physically collecting cash or money order or a check from the customer in your hands in front of you, do not ever enter a payment. This is really important for later on for the system to be able to collect this payment electronically. If you enter something in here and you didn't actually collect anything, the system won't try to collect this later. So don't put anything in here unless you actually collected something from the customer. All right. So we're going to back out here. We'll say we completed this. I got a pop up here because I have some unfinished required tasks. So this is a good note. If you see this little pop up, you have tasks that you were supposed to do that are required of you that you did not complete and you need to go back and do them. I'm going to dismiss it because I'm not a real delivery rep. And I'm going to head back to my day screen here. Just a note, as a delivery rep, you'll have some totals at the top here of your amounts that you've collected so far and your total units at the top here. So some good just checkpoints along the way of some things that you've collected along the way. All right. I'm going to head back out to my home screen. Again, I get that pop up. I did not finish my tasks for the day. I'm going to go ahead and dismiss it. And then we are going to close out. So I'm done for the day. I'm going to clock out if I have the clock out button, or if you don't, I'm going to click on sync and then route complete. All right, so that's closing me out there. I'm going to switch back over to our slide deck here while that is running. Okay. And to close us out, when in doubt, just sync. If you're seeing things that aren't expected, or if you're missing information, make sure you go back to that home screen and sync before you do anything else. Most of the time, that's going to solve your problem. And with that, I will stop for questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jossie. We did get one question come in, but we do have a few extra minutes and during my closeout speech. So please type in your Q&A or chat if you have any lingering questions so we can try to get to them today. With that, the one question that came in, Jossie, is for this company, breakage is pretty tough for a lot of new delivery drivers. What is your recommended process for a product that was broken and will impact the QD price promotion and the customer doesn't get the promo price?
Gotcha. Um, I mean, it really depends on your company and how you want to handle that. What I've seen is a lot of companies, because it was, our oopsie of breaking the product along the way, is that we'll still honor that promotion and bring them that additional case, at their next delivery. It was really kind of our fault that we broke it along the way. Um, but it's really your discretion of how you're going to handle that promotion. Yeah, it's really hard, but when you're offering that promotion and we break it along the way, it's not really the customer's fault that it happened, but we're losing out on that money because we're already taking the money off for the promotion. But it's really at your company's discretion how you're gonna handle that.
Awesome. Alrighty. Well, I don't see any other questions, but I will do my little wrap up. So thank you, Jossie, for presenting today and to all of our attendees who had joined. There is a survey that will be sent out to you after this session closes. We really appreciate your feedback and love to see if you have any recommendations for any future skills kickstarts. We do have a lot more coming up. If you go to the e-learning dashboard, you can check them all out there. This recording, if you want to see our lovely faces or voices again, will be uploaded to the recording archive by the end of day today. So if you want to share this out, go rewatch it. Highly recommend heading to the recording archive as well. And then I don't see any other questions coming in. So with that, we can close out this webinar. So thank you again for everybody attending and for Jossie for presenting today.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.